My wedding day should have been one of the happiest days of my life, but my stepdad managed to turn it into a nightmare. What he did was so disgraceful that I had no choice but to clap back at him on social media, and the fallout was more than anyone expected. It cost him his job. Let me backtrack a bit. I recently got married to my husband, Ryan, just 2 months ago. I've been out as gay since I was 19, and my mom has always been supportive of me and my identity. When she met my stepdad about 2 years ago, I was hopeful, but it became clear early on that he and I would never see eye to eye. Our relationship was strained at best, with him making little effort to get to know me or accept who I am. As Ryan and I began planning our wedding, we sent out invitations well in advance to give everyone ample notice. My mom was deeply involved in the planning, helping us book a beautiful venue, Oika Castle, the same place Taylor Swift used in her Blank Space music video. It was perfect. My stepdad, however, was noticeably absent from all the planning, using work as his excuse. About a month before the wedding, I called my mom to chat about what she and my stepdad were planning to wear. To my shock, my stepdad got on the phone and acted like he had no idea I was even getting married. Worse, he claimed he didn't know I was gay, despite having met Ryan numerous times. He started ranting about how he would only attend if it were a real wedding with a bride and groom, and launched into a tirade about how being gay is wrong. I was furious but chose not to argue. Instead, I called my sister to vent about his ridiculous behavior. We both agreed he was being incredibly disrespectful. The wedding day arrived, and to my surprise, my stepdad showed up. I assumed my mom had talked some sense into him. Everything was going smoothly until later in the evening when my stepdad decided, unannounced, to give a speech. What followed was a barrage of slurs and hateful comments directed at me and Ryan. He ruined our special day with his bigotry. The next morning, I called my mom, demanding to know why she stayed with a man who was so openly homophobic. She defended him, saying he had the right to his opinions and freedom of speech. I couldn't believe what I was hearing and told her she was a terrible mother for not prioritizing her children before hanging up. As if that wasn't enough, my mom and stepdad started posting anti-gay content on Facebook, spreading vile stereotypes and claiming that being gay is a choice. I was done. I clapped back hard, calling out every racist and disrespectful thing my stepdad had ever said, and then blocked them both on all platforms. A week later, my mom called me from a no-caller ID number, furious that my social media post had caused my stepdad to lose his job. She even demanded that I pay her back for everything she spent on the wedding, accusing me of only using her for her money. Now, some of my family members are siding with my mom, saying I should pay her back, but my sister is firmly on my side. The whole situation has left me questioning everything. Did I go too far, or was I right to stand up for myself? After that heated phone call with my mom, I felt a mix of anger and sadness that lingered for days. The wedding, which should have been a celebration of love and unity, had become a battleground, with my own family at the heart of the conflict. The worst part was that I didn't feel like I had any choice but to defend myself and Ryan, even if it meant alienating my mom and stepdad. As the days went on, the tension only grew. My stepdad's job loss became a topic of gossip within our extended family, and more relatives started weighing in, many of them criticizing me for what they saw as an overreaction. They didn't seem to care about the hateful things my stepdad had said or the pain he caused. Instead, they focused on the fact that he was now unemployed, as if that somehow made him the victim. But I wasn't backing down. I had spent too many years trying to appease others, trying to keep the peace, and sacrificing my own happiness in the process. This was a turning point for me, a moment where I realized that I had to put myself and my marriage first, no matter the cost. Ryan was incredibly supportive through all of this. He reminded me that we had each other, and that was what mattered most. We started to focus on rebuilding our lives after the wedding, moving forward with our plans for the future. But even as we tried to move on, the fallout from my stepdad's actions continued to haunt us. One day, while scrolling through social media, I stumbled upon a post from one of my cousins. It was a thinly veiled jab at me, implying that I had ruined a good man's life over a few harmless words. The post had several likes and comments from other relatives, all agreeing with the sentiment. It hurt to see how many people in my family were willing to excuse my stepdad's behavior and blame me for the consequences. I decided to take a break from social media for a while, needing to clear my head and focus on the positive things in my life. Ryan and I planned a small getaway, a much-needed break from the drama. We spent a few days at a cozy cabin in the mountains, surrounded by nature and far away from the noise of social media and family conflicts. It was during that trip that I began to find some peace. I realized that I couldn't change how others felt or what they believed, but I could choose how I responded to it. When we returned, I was determined to set boundaries with my family. I reached out to a few relatives who had been supportive and explained my side of the story, hoping to build a stronger support network. But with the rest of the family, I decided it was best to keep my distance. I didn't want to keep fighting battles that only left me drained and hurt. Meanwhile, my mom continued to reach out, trying to mend the rift between us. She insisted that she never meant to take sides, and that she was just trying to keep the peace between me and my stepdad. But every conversation felt like a minefield, with her always circling back to how my actions had affected her husband. It became clear that she still didn't understand the gravity of what he had done, or why I couldn't just forgive and forget. One evening, after yet another frustrating call with my mom, I sat down with Ryan and shared my thoughts. I don't know what to do, I admitted. Part of me wants to keep trying to find some way to fix this, but the other part of me feels like I'm just banging my head against a wall. Ryan took my hand and looked at me with those calm, understanding eyes I loved so much. You don't have to fix it, he said gently. You don't owe anyone your forgiveness, especially not when they haven't earned it. Your stepdad made his choices, and now he's dealing with the consequences. It's not on you to make things right for him. His words resonated with me. For so long, I had felt responsible for everyone else's happiness, but I was finally starting to realize that it was okay to put myself first. It was okay to protect my own well-being, even if it meant walking away from people who had been a part of my life for years. As the months passed, I found a new rhythm in life. I focused on my marriage, my career, and my own mental health. I reconnected with friends who had always been supportive, and I even started attending a local LGBT+ support group, where I met others who had faced similar struggles with family acceptance. Hearing their stories helped me feel less alone, and I began to find strength in my own journey. My relationship with my mom remained strained, but I was learning to accept that some things might never change. She continued to stand by my stepdad, even as he struggled to find another job. They eventually stopped posting about me on social media, but the damage had already been done. One day, I received an unexpected message from my stepdad. It was short and to the point. I lost my job because of you, but I also lost my respect for myself. I don't expect forgiveness, but I want you to know that I'm sorry. I stared at the message for a long time, unsure of how to respond. Part of me wanted to lash out, to tell him exactly how much pain he had caused. But another part of me felt a strange sense of relief. His apology, though late and far from perfect, was a step in the right direction. It didn't erase what had happened, but it was something in the end. I chose not to reply. I wasn't ready to reopen that chapter of my life, and I didn't know if I ever would be. But I felt a sense of closure, knowing that I had stood up for myself and for Ryan, even when it was hard. Life went on, and slowly, the wounds began to heal. Ryan and I started talking about our future, maybe moving to a new city, adopting a dog, or even starting a family of our own. The possibilities felt endless, and for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful about what lay ahead. As for my family, things would never be the same, but I was okay with that. I had learned that family isn't just about blood. It's about love, respect, and the people who stand by you when it matters most. And with Ryan by my side, I knew I had all the family I needed. As time moved on, Ryan and I became even closer. Our shared experiences, both the joyous and the painful, had forged a bond that was unbreakable. The scars left by my family's rejection still lingered, but they no longer had the power to control my life. Ryan and I decided to take a big step forward. We started looking into buying our first home together. The excitement of finding a place to call our own was a welcome distraction from the lingering shadows of the past. One weekend, we found a charming little house in a quiet neighborhood just outside the city. It wasn't the biggest or the fanciest place, but it had a warmth to it that instantly made us feel at home. We could picture ourselves building a life there, filling it with love, laughter, and maybe even the pitter-patter of little paws or feet someday. The process of buying the house was nerve-wracking, but we were in it together, facing each challenge as a team. Amidst the home-buying excitement, the past came knocking once more. My mom reached out again, but this time, her tone was different. She sounded tired, almost defeated. "I know things have been tough between us," she said, her voice hesitant. "But I miss you. I miss us. I don't know how to fix everything, but I want to try." Her words stirred a mix of emotions within me. I missed her too, but I wasn't sure if I was ready to let her back into my life, especially knowing she was still with my stepdad. "Mom, I want to believe you," I replied carefully, "but it's hard to see how things can change when he's still in the picture. He's hurt me in ways that I'm not sure I can forgive." There was a long pause on the other end of the line. "I know," she finally said, her voice barely a whisper. "I've been thinking about that a lot. I love him, but I also love you. I don't want to choose, but it feels like I have to." Her admission hit me like a ton of bricks. For the first time, it seemed like she was truly grappling with the reality of the situation. Part of me wanted to reach out, to pull her back into my life and work through the pain together. But another part of me was still wary, afraid of being hurt again. We ended the call on uncertain terms, both of us unsure of what the future held. I shared the conversation with Ryan, who, as always, was my rock. "You don't have to rush into anything," he reminded me. "Take your time. If you're not ready, that's okay." His support gave me the strength to keep moving forward. As we settled into our new home, we found joy in the little things: decorating rooms, planting a small garden, and hosting dinner parties with our close friends. Our home became a sanctuary, a place where we could shut out the world and just be ourselves. But my mom's words continued to echo in my mind. I couldn't shake the feeling that our relationship was hanging in the balance, and I knew that if I didn't address it, the distance between us would only grow. One evening, as Ryan and I were sitting on our new porch, watching the sunset, I brought it up again. "I think I need to talk to her," I said quietly. "I don't know what will come of it, but I can't just leave things the way they are." Ryan nodded, understanding as always. "Do what you need to do. I'll be here, no matter what." With his support, I reached out to my mom and arranged to meet her for coffee. It was the first time we'd seen each other in person since the wedding, and the tension was palpable. We exchanged awkward pleasantries before diving into the heart of the matter. "Mom, I love you," I began, "but I need to know that you understand how much he hurt me. I need to know that you're willing to stand up for me, even if it means standing up to him." She looked at me with tear-filled eyes, and for the first time, I saw the conflict in her. "I've been so scared of losing him," she admitted, "but in trying to hold on to him, I've been losing you. I don't want to choose between the two of you, but I can't keep pretending that everything's okay when it's not." It was a difficult conversation, filled with raw emotions and painful truths. But it was also a turning point. My mom finally acknowledged the harm that had been done, and she expressed a genuine desire to repair our relationship. It wasn't an instant fix, but it was a start. In the following weeks, we began to rebuild our connection, slowly but surely. I made it clear that I wasn't ready to fully forgive or forget, but I was open to seeing where things could go. My stepdad remained a sore point, but my mom seemed to understand that if she wanted to be a part of my life, she would have to respect the boundaries I set. Ryan and I continued to focus on our life together, finding joy in each other and in our new home. We adopted a rescue dog, a sweet little beagle mix named Charlie, who quickly became the center of our world. Charlie brought a new level of happiness and love into our lives, filling our home with playful energy and endless affection. Through it all, I learned the importance of standing up for myself, even when it meant facing difficult consequences. I also learned that family isn't just about the people you're born with. It's about the people who love and support you, no matter what. Ryan, my friends, and even Charlie became my true family, and I cherished them deeply. As time went on, the wounds from the past began to heal. My relationship with my mom improved, albeit slowly, and I started to see glimmers of hope that we might one day find peace. My stepdad remained a distant figure, but I no longer let his presence define my life. Life wasn't perfect, but it was mine. And that was more than enough.